This year has been incredibly disappointing for a lot of PlayStation fans because, I mean, Sony really hasn't been announcing much. We had a very disappointing state of play where they revealed Days Gone remastered, but a lot of people have basically been saying, where's the new games? Where's the stuff that's going to not just sell PlayStations, but blow our minds? I mean, we bought these $500 PS5s. Where's the PS5 exclusives? So, just a couple months back, we had that state of play that pretty much everybody hated, but this weekend was the 20th anniversary of God of War, and people expected something to be cool, to be a victory lap, to say, hey, here is a reward for the love, the passion for 2 decades of Kratos. But we really didn't get much. We got t-shirts, we got fan art, we got free bonus skins in God of War Ragnarok. But this weekend, yesterday in fact, we got a leak. We got something from most famous leaker Jeff Grub that apparently we're going to be getting a completely new God of War game that's smaller, that's shorter, but maybe like Miles Morales. Let's talk. Hi, hope you're having a great day, and if you could, please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Now, in case you weren't aware of this, I did a video about it at the time, but this, in my opinion, was such a bad move. For the 20th anniversary, there were a lot of rumors and leaks and stuff that we're going to get some sort of Greek collection. That was the thought, is that there have been different eras of Kratos. There was the Norse mythology stuff we have now, but the Greek tragedy, the classic games that I think a lot of people very fondly remember, the old school stuff, God of War 1, 2, 3, Chains of Olympus, these games that really established that rough, original, badass, gory lore that's important to Kratos. And instead they said, hey, check out the real God of War collection, which is comic books, which is a collection of vinyl records, which is a collection of t-shirts. Literally all the replies were like, where are the games? Where is the remaster? Where is the stuff to make us, I don't know, love Kratos? Well, last night at about 6 p.m., a new leak came out from Jeff Grub. A new God of War side story project set in Greece is coming this year. Now, I want to take a look at it, and I want to take a look at his exact quote and kind of the reactions to it, because I want to believe this. I have not been the biggest God of War fan. In fact, I think there's been more God of War games I haven't liked than there are games that I have liked. Just in general, not a character I like a lot, to be honest with you. The gameplay loop, the characters of some of the early games, just not really my cup of tea, but I want this to come back because I do like the new era of Kratos. I do think that Kratos now, being retrospective, being so deep, being so well acted by Christopher Judge, I definitely want more of current era Kratos. But I'm curious if we're even going to be playing him or if this is going to be an Atreus spot. But let me actually take a look at it. So this is pushsquare.com. And a lot of people were talking about this because in a series of posts over on Bluesky, he states, God of War is still going back to Greece and it's coming out this year, but it's not a remaster, it's a new side story project. When someone questions the scope of the project in relation to the mainline games, Grubb said, set your expectations lower. Now, to me, I still think this is cool because I loved Miles Morales a lot. I mean, it's not as big and crazy as, well, Spider-Man 1. Obviously, Spider-Man 2018 is fantastic. And I know a lot of people kind of hate Spider-Man 2 on PlayStation 5. I didn't. I actually loved that game a lot. But Miles Morales, this game was roughly 8 hours long, which sounds crazy tiny. But I mean, that's if you're balls to the wall, main mission only, conquering it. You can get the platinum trophy in about 20 hours. And in my opinion, it's an incredibly fun 20 hours doing all the side objectives, exploring, swinging around, stuff like that. But I think a lot of people have been talking about expandalones. This used to be much more of a common thing, especially on the PlayStation 4, where you'd come out with a game, you're currently working on the sequel or a different weird project, but you've got extra ideas laying around, stuff that's complete, that's finished, that just didn't fit into the main game. And it's not just standard DLC. You don't want to charge somebody $10 for a 20-hour mission campaign, right? So you make it a separate game, an expand-alone. It's an expansion that stands alone. I think the idea of an expand-alone for God of War, especially if it follows up on a lot of those threads at the end of God of War Ragnarok, which I'm not going to spoil, but at the end, his son very much seems to be ready to go on his own adventure. Atreus is just going to go off and do something very different, very, well, separate from him. And I've always been curious to see what that would look like. But let me go back to this. Because part of what's really striking me is that, to me, this being a smaller possible project actually stokes my curiosity, because I wonder what that would look like. Now, Jeff Grub is one of the people that talked about a God of War remastered collection. Everybody thought it was going to be revealed at the State of Play. Obviously, it did not. A lot of people said, okay, well, it's not the State of Play. It'll be at the anniversary. Nope, turns out it just doesn't exist. But this is it. I was never told about a remaster collection, but I was asking a source about the rumors that I saw were focused on a collection, and they told me nothing of God of War would happen at State of Play, but something could show up at the anniversary. So basically what he's saying is that if they're not revealing it yet, it's probably not going to be revealed, which I have to admit, I still feel like they really need to bring back the older games. They need to take them and make them playable in some form on the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5. I was hanging out with my girlfriend on Friday, and I was showing her all these different games, retro games, old school stuff, and I told her about, what's that number? 85% of all the games ever released are currently unplayable. They're not on current systems. They're not on current PC. There's so much stuff that you have to emulate if you want to play it. And to me, that is weird. Like, PlayStation owns God of War. They have the source code. They have the hype. They have the ability to, like, they have emulators inside the PlayStation that play PlayStation 2 games perfectly. Why not bring back classic God of War with trophy support, with save states, with rewinds? Like, literally, even if you sell it, why the hell not? And she agreed with me that it is weird that there's so many games they just choose not to bring back. I wish that they would just say, hey, here's a new God of War. It's going to be great. It's going to be shorter, but we are working on something beyond that. There is going to be the next pantheon for Kratos to murder. But also, here's the classics. Even if they're not, spruced up, even if they're not full-blown remasters, I 100% believe that we should be getting those older games playable on current systems, even if they are just upscale. Literally, even if they're just the old school games and they are slightly blurry, I'd be thrilled just to have a way to play them again to see if I was wrong to hate them as a kid. But I wanted to actually take a look at his reactions to this because, okay, everyone keeps asking about this, so I've tried to find out more. There is still a Greek God of War thing coming out this year, but it's not a remaster collection. It's a new side story project. So this almost makes me think, and I am very much reading into this, the way that the story of Miles Morales is that Peter Parker goes on vacation, so Miles Morales ends up dealing with a lot of extra chaotic main story hijinks that typically he wouldn't. It kind of made him step up. I wonder if this new project, God of War Atreus, I wonder if, because Atreus can now just teleport, it can go anywhere, I wonder if this game is going to actually be that. If it is going to be Atreus going back to the Greek lands, but current day, like going back now in the current story to see the chaos, the bloodshed, the ruination left behind by Kratos, to kind of see the past of his father, the homeland of his father, and set things up for a bigger future. Like, okay, we've fully put this to bed. We've seen everything good and bad that's been done by Kratos, and now his son fully grasps the concept of the god of war. I'm going to see what happens next. There it is, a main story by Atreus or a main story by Kratos or a double. I would love to be able to actually do like the way that God of War Ragnarok, we got actual missions playing as Atreus and then actual missions playing as Kratos. It would be really rad, in my opinion, if that's what the next game is. But let me take a look at some reactions here. A lot of people are like, man, okay, This is seemingly coming together because the other major leaker, Tom Henderson, who's leaked everything from the PlayStation 5 Pro to the PlayStation 4, Tom Henderson definitely has a lot of deep sources inside of PlayStation, said that he had specifically heard that he had heard about a young Kratos going back to Greece. I am optimistic that this could be awesome. I want to see these games return. I want to see classic God of War come back, but more than that, I do want to see the next era, the next story, the next threads that make us say, hell yeah, when we press circle to rip off a giant evil god's head. But this has just been early morning off-the-cuff thoughts because I just rolled out of bed. But I love you very much. I hope you guys are having a good weekend. Hope you're having a good day whenever the heck you see this. But most importantly, what do you think about God of War? Like current tense, past tense, and how do you feel about the future of it? Do you want to really go back to the gung-ho gut and bloods that we used to have, blood and guts that we used to have, or are you more happy with the slower, more methodical, more reflective current tense? You guys know I love current Kratos way more than classic Kratos, but I'm ready for what comes next. Thanks for watching. If you could, please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and please keep dreaming. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.